What is up, Pats Nation? It is Patriots Global here with another video, and you already know that we are going to be talking about the Chiefs game because that is who the Patriots play this coming Sunday night. Now, if you watched my video on me basically predicting who I think we are going to lose and win against, pretty much just predicting the Patriots record, you know that I had the Patriots winning this game, and I'm not saying they aren't going to win this game, but I definitely didn't think that this was going to be a game that we could be worrying about. This is Patrick Mahomes' first year as a starting quarterback. Last year, he was on the team, but he didn't play because of Alex Smith, but we all know that Alex Smith got traded to the Redskins. And Mahomes was having a lot of issues with having interceptions during practices and minicamp and training camp, OTAs, all that good stuff. So I really didn't think that this was going to be a crazy game to worry about, but my focus has definitely changed. Now, like the title, this video is mainly going to be about the Patriots defense versus the Chiefs offense, because when it comes to the Chiefs defense versus the Patriots offense, I'm really not that scared. The Chiefs do not have one of the best defenses in the league. They are not like the Jags. They are not like the Rams. They don't have a top tier defense. I'm not saying it's a bad defense, not at all, but it is not top tier. They will also be without their starting right guard, so there will be a backup offensive lineman when they play the Patriots. And it seems like they will be without their star starting linebacker, whose name I cannot remember, but those are two very big losses for the Chiefs. And yes, they did limit Blake Bortles last week, but at the same time, that's not even an argument. Blake Bortles, Tom Brady. The Patriots now have Julian Edelman back, who the Chiefs have not seen in a while. They have Gronk. They have Josh Gordon. They have James White. They have Sony Michel, who ran for over 100 yards 2 weeks ago, and then last week, by just a couple yards, was short for another 100-yard game. As long as the Patriots can get on the board first, this offense should be perfectly okay. Now let's get to what you were really wondering about, the Patriots defense versus this insanely flaming Chiefs offense. To start off, we're going to talk a little bit about Patrick Mahomes, and he has been the NFL superstar so far this year. He easily is a top runner for Rookie of the Year, or at least that's a lot what I'm hearing. Or maybe it was Player of the Year. Either way, if he keeps playing how he does, he could easily get some type of award for how he's playing. But so far this season, Mahomes has led the league with 14 touchdown passes, with 13 of them coming from his first 3 games. Not to mention, he has been the most prolific deep ball thrower out of all quarterbacks in the league, with 14 completions that traveled 20 yards plus in the air, according to Pro Football Focus. Now, something that might make you feel a tad bit better is that in the past 2 weeks, Mahomes has tapered off just a little bit. He had just 1 touchdown pass against the Denver Broncos in a game that Kansas City trailed late in the fourth quarter. And then on Sunday, he was held without a touchdown pass and threw the first 2 interceptions of his career, even though they won over the Jags. Now, what I said earlier about him being the NFL's best deep ball thrower, that is what really does concern me. A lot of times that we see these deep balls going down the field against this Patriots secondary, a lot of times they cannot keep up. Stephon Gilmore is one of the Patriots' best corners, but I don't think he has that speed to match up against players like Tyreek Hill. If I'm going to be 100% honest, I want the Patriots to play J.C. Jackson more this game. J.C. Jackson has proven to be one of the Patriots' easily best deep ball protection. When you actually see J.C. Jackson on the field and he is covering far down the field, he is bumper to bumper on any guy that he is covering, which I find very interesting because he wasn't supposed to have this elite speed. It wasn't something that was, said about him. But if you look at all of the interceptions that J.C. Jackson has had, they have come from quarterbacks throwing deep down the field in his direction, and every time he is bumper to bumper on these guys. Now, I don't really expect this to happen because this Chiefs offense is so stellar, and he is a rookie, so Bill Belichick might not place him on there for that exact reason, but it's something I personally think would be a good idea. What the Patriots are going to have to do is get into Patrick Mahomes' face. Oddly enough, this Patriots pass rush has been weirdly very, very good and elite. I read an article about it, and I might make a video on it, but yeah, a lot of people are complaining about that we're not getting pressure, but according to the article I read, we are actually doing very well and are elite in that category. But we are going to have to force Patrick Mahomes to make these throws, and then we're going to have to just put our heart and soul and trust into the secondary to make sure that a pass isn't completed. Something else we're going to have to do, which is something that Ty Law, who used to play for the Patriots defense, had said, is that they are going to have to show him things that he has never seen before. He is a rookie in the NFL. There is a lot he has not seen. He has not played this Patriots defense before. Make sure that he isn't comfortable. Give him things that confuses him, and the Patriots defense should easily do fine. A big battle is just stopping Patrick Mahomes. That isn't the full battle, but that is a very, very big battle. And as long as they contain and stop at least him, then we should have a great chance at winning. Now, the Chiefs are averaging the NFL's best with 35 points per game this season. And while Patrick Mahomes is a great part of that, it also comes down to the amount of amazing weapons that this guy has got. We all remember Kareem Hunt, who literally lit up the Patriots last year in the first week of the regular season, where we lost to the Kansas City Chiefs pretty brutally. And at the beginning, no one thought Kareem Hunt was going to be anything crazy, as his first run was a fumble. But by the end of the game, he was already a star. Hunt already is 4th in the league for rushing yards this season, totaling 208 yards on 41 carries against the Broncos and Jags. And last year, a big reason we lost again was because of Hunt, and it was because of how he literally could just run all over this Patriots defense. Or if they wanted to switch things up, they could put him in the backfield and complete a pass to him, and somehow it would gain at least 20 yards. Stopping the run was something the Patriots seem to work on a lot this offseason, but it hasn't really correlated to how they're actually playing. I think their run stopping is definitely better than last year, but I don't think that it is as good as it can be. So guys are definitely going to have to show up. We are really going to have to stuff this run. Now, Tyreek Hill, who is probably the guy that worries me the most. Hill on special teams already is extremely dangerous because of how insanely fast that guy is. Without a doubt, that is going to have to be a guy that the Patriots double team, like, easily. Because the Patriots play a lot of man coverage, and like I said, I really don't know anyone who, except maybe Jonathan Jones, but he doesn't have the height to go up against Tyreek Hill. But any other person, I feel like, doesn't have the speed to be able to match with him and are easily just going to get burnt. So double teaming Tyreek Hill is another must do for the Patriots. I mean, he's had 9 receptions of 20 yards plus and is tied for second most in the league behind DeAndre Hopkins. Let that sink in for a second. Next up, there's Travis Kelce, who the Patriots usually do fairly well with shutting down. I mean, last year, week 1, they didn't do crazy good at stopping him, but they did fairly well. But he is also one of the NFL's best tight ends, arguably the second best tight end. I'm never going to put anybody over Gronk, even though a lot of people try to say that Kelce is better than Gronk. But I am kind of worried with him because the Patriots have had a lot of trouble covering tight ends, especially during last week versus the Colts, allowing tight end Eric Ebron and Eric Swoop to catch 12 passes for 149 yards and 3 touchdowns. A big reason that the Colts got that close and got that many touchdowns and yards was because of those tight ends, and the Patriots just were not covering them well enough. Hill with 425 yards and Kelsey with 409 yards both rank among the top 20 in receiving yards this season, and they have combined for more than 20 yards per catch with 16, then the entire Patriots roster with 12. Now, the last guy that I'm going to talk about is Sammy Watkins, who we all know is a 2014 first-round pick, who has been dealing with some injuries, but he is off to a nice start with the Chiefs. I mean, he's caught 20 passes on 29 targets for 254 yards and a touchdown so far. Watkins missed the Broncos game with a hamstring injury, but returned to catch 6 passes on 7 targets for 78 yards against the Jags. Injuries, like I mentioned, are becoming a thing for the Chiefs, and that linebacker whose name I couldn't remember earlier, I remember now. Justin Houston, who is their linebacker, sounds like he will not play due to a hamstring injury, but obviously we'll have to see what happens. If he is not playing, that is a big loss for them. This arguably could be the Patriots' biggest test, or the Patriots' defense's biggest test this season. It's really going to come down to how the Patriots' defense plays, because if they can't stop anyone, then the Chiefs are easily going to win this. But that is it for today's video. What are your guys' thoughts on the Chiefs, and how do you think the Patriots are going to play on Sunday? Make sure you guys like and subscribe. This helps me out very, very, very much. Make sure you guys share this video with everybody knows we can grow the Patriots Global family. Other than that, I will catch you guys in another video.